A resolution approving an agreement with Ramelli Waste LLC to provide curbside collection, processing, and marketing of recyclable materials in unincorporated Jefferson Parish in the town of Jean Lafitte, Consolidated Garbage District Number 1, for the Department of Environmental Affairs. Services to include collection from residential and small business units and from the David Drive and Lapalco trash drop-off sites under RFP number 0461 for an amount not to exceed $6,088,440. And the amendments are going to be on the agreements to add section 2.1 carts. Every residential and small business unit in Consolidated Garbage District Number 1 is entitled to a 35-gallon bar rollout recyclable cart, as described in Attachment A, since they are paying for the Jefferson Parish Recycling Program of collection, processing, and marketing of recyclable materials on their utility bills. Upon execution of this agreement, firm agrees to immediately order 66,000 carts. Parish recognizes that the expected delivery time of new carts is scheduled to be within 60 to 90 days from placement of an order. Therefore, until delivery of the 35-gallon carts, firms shall pick up the recycling materials placed into residents or small businesses' pre-existing recycling bins. The 66,000 carts shall be delivered to every residential and small business unit in Consolidated Garbage District Number 1 that wishes to participate in the recycling program. Firms shall order additional carts if necessary to ensure that every residential and small business unit in Consolidated Garbage District Number 1 that wishes to participate in the recycling program is provided with a cart. Once carts are delivered to all residential and small business units participating in the recycling program, firms shall discontinue pickup of recycling materials placed into pre-existing recycling bins and to add Attachment A. And that's all the amendments.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any objections to the amendments being brought from the floor? Hearing none. Councilwoman Van Vranken, Councilwoman Van Vranken, your motion on the amendments.
Move to approve the amendment.
Okay, and we'll stop there for a little bit of discussion, which I know is coming, before we get to the vote on this. And Mr. Ramelli is here. He's here to answer questions if anybody has any, so I'll open the floor for anybody who may have a question. Council? All right. Yeah, the amendment was adopted for the contract, and Councilman Bonanno has a comment, not necessarily a question. Go ahead.
No, just much as when we decided this issue, I think several meetings ago, when we decided to move forward on the contract, sometimes we have to vote our conscience, and I've been contacted by so many of our senior citizens over the last few weeks saying that they can't afford this, and realize you get your bill every other month, so it's $10 to them, not $5, because they had to pay it at once. And this program, I'm not against recycling, but this program has proven not to be effective. For $6 million a year, we're going to recycle less than 1% of our waste stream. Let that sink in. $6 million a year, 1% of our waste stream or less. I just can't in good conscience impose this fee on our citizens. And so I'll be asking for a roll call vote, because this isn't a slight against Ramelli, but I have to vote against this.
And Councilman Bonanno, we've talked about this, and we talked about this the last meeting where we brought this up for discussion. I have the same thoughts. I'm not against recycling. I'm not against Mr. Ramelli. We had a very good meeting this week on Monday where he made me reconsider some things. I still intend to vote against recycling today, but it's not a reflection on him. It's a reflection on the program that we've run for the past several years, and it's also what I've heard from constituents. It's another fee that a lot of people do not want right now, and I believe that we can move forward in a way that protects Jefferson Parish in the future for recycling and helps us build for the future a little bit better. I know a lot of people have brought up the subscription service and opt-in service. It's something that down the line, I think we can look at as a parish. Some people, anybody's free to do that now if they'd like to. It's just a little bit cost prohibitive for some people because the private companies that do it in our area don't have that subscriber base yet, so they're forced to charge $22, $25, $27 a month to come and pick up your recyclables once a month. So I think as we move forward, we'll come up with some solutions, and Mr. Ramelli has promised that he will be on the forefront of an educational program for recycling to help people understand what goes in our recycling bins and what doesn't. He's agreed to put stickers on the underside of our lids to show you as you open your lid each time what can go in, what cannot go in. So at least the people who want to recycle, and even some people who have not considered recycling, may consider it now and will know a little bit better what can go in and what can't go in, what contaminates a full load, what doesn't, because one contaminated load that goes into the back of a truck contaminates a lot, if not all. So that's what we're dealing with. It's not a perfect system, but I do have faith that Mr. O'Malley will do a good job with the recycling effort in Jefferson Parish. I hope to be proven correct with that, Mr. O'Malley, and I think that it's what we have for right now, and we'll have other opportunities down the road, but this is what's in front of us at the moment. Councilwoman Van Vranken?
Funny, the reasons that you stated are actually the reasons why I'll choose to support this measure today. I have heard from residents who are concerned about the cost. I do understand that. That's part of why yesterday I had a very good meeting with Mr. O'Malley. We talked about in the future potentially exploring a subscription service so that, you know, we might get to a point where those who want to recycle can pay into it, where those who don't would be able to opt out. But what we don't want to do right now is lose all ability to recycle. We've heard from a number of constituents, funny enough, who are very passionate about recycling, who say they have boxes piled up since Christmas and all of the things that are in their garage being held because they want them to be recycled and not just part of what's added to our landfill. We talked about simplifying our recycling program. There's a lot of confusion about what can be put in the carts, what can be put in the bins, and what can't. So that's where something like a sticker to simplify it and say, these are the things you should put in here will help grow the program, I believe. And I serve on the Keep Louisiana Beautiful board, and things like this may not be as big an issue as a broken water main and those things that government has to deal with to provide essential service. But the litter in our community, the recycling and the trash that if it's not recycled winds up in our environment, all of these things are important too, and I think part of a progressive community. So I will vote to support this and look forward to working with Mr. O'Malley and his team to make sure that our program grows and is an efficient one and explores innovation in the future.
Anyone else? I would like to ask Mr. O'Malley a question before we vote, if you don't mind coming to the podium, just for some clarity on a couple of things. And this won't be long. We've just heard from a lot of people who've been waiting to recycle for a long period of time. If this passes today, how long until you're picking up recycling again? It'll be with the old existing bins for a little while, but how long until you start again?
As soon as the contract's executed, we're able to start as early as the middle of next week, maybe Wednesday after Mardi Gras, if y'all would like to. We're ready to go.
In the interim, people will continue to use their green recycling bins that we've had for a long time.
Yes.
And when could they expect to have the rolling carts with the lid and the wheels?
We will order them today, and as soon as the factory can get them out to us, we're hoping to get it done in 30 to 45 days, but it could take as long as 60 to 90 days.
And it would be a process. I mean, not everybody's going to get it on day one, so it would take a period of months to distribute the carts to the people who desire to have them.
Once the carts are in, we should be able to get them all out within 30 days.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. O'Malley? All right, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Walker, may I?
Yes, Councilwoman Bohannon.
You know, I've labored with this decision, to be quite honest. I have people calling my office that notice a $28 change in their water bill. They just can't afford anything extra. And at a time when our water bills are going up, insurances are going up, I just don't know that my district can bear the cost and what I feel is almost an unfair application to them. I have a small amount that are using it and a small amount that can afford to pay for it. I would prefer the parish to do a subscription service where those who can afford would be happy to pay at $25 to $30 a house per month. Maybe drop-off sites for those who couldn't afford it. But to sort of make everyone in my district pay for this, I'm struggling with doing that. And it's not the service. Mr. O'Malley will do an amazing job. I know he will. And I think he will live up to every end of the promise that he's agreed to do, the stickers and everything. I just can't see making everyone pay for a service that's so little use. So it's no slight on the company, obviously, or on my colleagues. I'm sure if it's passed, it will be a great thing for our parish. But I just wanted to explain why I was not able to support it today.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councilman Edwards.
Let's clarify exactly what we're voting for here, because the wording is confusing, and I don't want people voting one way thinking it's the other.
This is voting on the contract, and we can read it again. It's voting on the contract with an amendment that stipulates that 66,000 carts will be ordered as soon as the contract is ratified. They'll be distributed to everyone in the parish who wants one. The people will be identified through a list of people who currently recycle. As the trucks go through the parish, they'll see who puts bins out. If you don't currently have a bin to put out to be replaced with a bigger cart, then you can hail the truck as it comes by, contact Mr. Romelli by email or website. We're going to hopefully come up with some things on our website, the Jefferson Parish website, where we can have somebody can opt out of the program, not the fee, unfortunately, but the program, if you don't want the cart, and some opt-ins and some other ways. But anybody who wants a cart for this program, Mr. Romelli has said, if you're not on the initial list, within a day or two, you would receive that cart. And the amendment stipulates the size cart with the lids and the wheels, so they don't blow down, recycling doesn't blow down the street anymore like it does in our previous bins.
So vote yes for this would begin the process of acquiring the carts and distributing them to everybody.
Yes, nothing's been ordered, and Mr. Romelli was instructed not to order anything until the contract was ratified. So if it's ratified, then he would move forward with the order and then the distribution shortly thereafter.
Thank you.
And Councilman Bonanno, you wanted to make the motion?
Call for a vote.
Any objection to the motion for roll call vote? A motion of Councilman Bonanno, seconded by Councilman Walker. Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Edwards.
No.
Councilman Bonanno.
No.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Walker.
No.
Councilwoman Van Rankin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bohannon.
No.
Councilman Lichtenberg.
Yes.
And the motion fails.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there, well, we don't need anything else on that, right? Because it failed.
No.
So we just move to the next item. Okay, the motion fails. Thank you, Madam Clerk. And that takes us to item 115, please.
Ask if I can before we wrap up on,
Yes, ma'am.
on that topic. I think we have certainly expressed concern about the cost, but a desire to recycle. And so I would ask the department under whom this program operates to start exploring options for a subscription service, to start exploring what other options we have. I know we each have reached out to entities that do provide recycling, entities that recycle even products like glass. I know the city of New Orleans got about a $3 million grant to support recycling efforts. So to make sure that the Department of Environmental Affairs can begin exploring what options we might have moving forward for an alternate to what was on our agenda today.
That's a good point, Ms. Van Rankin. Madam Parish Attorney, would it be okay, Ms. Parish Attorney, Tony? Would it be okay, is it legal for your office in the department to negotiate directly with Romelli on a subscription service as a part of this process?
We can negotiate directly on a garbage contract. I think for purposes of a subscription service, my mic's not working.
There it is.
On a garbage contract, we can, under the statute. For recycling contract, I don't know if we can negotiate directly with Mr. Romelli.
If you would negotiate that, just let us know. That's just something we want to consider.
Yeah, because the action in December we took was to select Romelli.
Right.
And then today we chose not to ratify this particular contract. So if you could maybe look into that and instruct us moving
Or
forward.
perhaps we do another procurement method, because there are alternate people who could help us with a subscription service.
Right.
And
I think we would have to put it back out.
Okay.
so if we were to put this back out and solicit in a different way, how long would it take to turn that RFP around? roughly? Could we do that relatively quickly?
It would be an entirely new scope, but certainly it's generally probably about a 5-month period for creating it, advertising it, selecting someone, and negotiating a contract.
Okay, so if we put it back out by mid-year, we could move on something again if we chose to, around mid-year.
Yes, and we would have to rescind this RFP when we advertise the new RFP.
Okay. Mr. Drews, welcome to the podium. Director of Public Works, Mark Drews.
Just from talking to Catherine, look, what we would probably want is maybe about a 90-day period so we can explore options and really get a good handle on how, a proper subscription service would be done, what we think, how many people would actually apply, et cetera. So I just, in order to dot our I's and cross our T's, just a rough estimate. We would certainly try to do it as quickly as possible, but I think that would be a reasonable amount of time to develop what we need to develop, which give us time to actually look at other communities that actually have subscription services that would be comparable, et cetera.
I know last time when we put out this RFP, we had asked for creative solutions and didn't get creative solutions. So this time it'll be a requirement in the RFP, and it'll have to come back that way.
Exactly, and that would be our goal, to get an RFP that the administration and the council are comfortable with before we proceed.
Thank you, sir. Is that it from everybody? Okay. Madam Clerk, where are we? I lost my 115. Okay. Thank you. I want to thank Mr. Romelli, too, I know you put in a lot of work on this, and I know we had a great meeting on Monday, and I appreciate your time and effort that you put towards this. Sorry it didn't work this time, but I hope you'll be back for the next round of this, and we can try again. Because I know your heart's in the right place. I know you've tried hard in this, and you wanted to make a difference in recycling in the community. So again, appreciate what you've done in this effort. 115 with amendments, please, Madam Clerk.